Greetings, fellow Helldivers. Today I bring you some incredibly important news from the front lines. We have 3 huge updates that are going to dramatically change the game, both figuratively and literally. So strap in as I break down all the new information that has just been announced and what this means for us. Yes, that is right, my friends. We have just liberated Teased and finished the most recent major order, and with it comes a bunch of new updates. Some really cool, some absolutely terrifying. So let me start off by drawing your attention to some of the new dispatch messages. Firstly, if we take a look at a message that was released yesterday in coordination with the 2 new stratagems, the Quasar Cannon and the Heavy Machine Gun, the wording specifically I want to call out to you is in order to support the destruction of the automatons. That isn't just some overhyped wording, there is real meaning to that. And this is further elaborated on with the new major order. But I'll address that in just a minute, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Firstly, take a listen to this broadcast from Coretta Kelly.
Freedom's greetings. I'm your host, Coretta Kelly. Helldivers continue efforts to eradicate the automaton threat in Operation Swift Disassembly. The Minister of Defense has indicated that the operation's goal is the total destruction of all automatons, saying, "Peace is not an option. The automatons are programmed for 2 things, violence and hating freedom." Coming up next, are toilet stalls dissident hideouts? More on that when we return.
Firstly, on a lighter note, before we get into the serious stuff, I just love the humor in this game. Honestly, I have so much joy with every aspect of Helldivers. I love the hating freedom bit about the automatons, and also I'm very excited to find out if the toilet stalls are indeed dissident hideouts, so stay tuned for more on that later. Honestly, I love it so much. But back to the important information. This confirms that we are dead set on the elimination of the automatons from the galactic frontier entirely, which, as I've already mentioned, ties in with the new major order. Firstly though, back to the outcome of the completion of Phase 1 of Operation Swift Disassembly and what this means for us. The first terrifying piece of information is that the automaton comms array that we have decommissioned was broadcasting outside the galactic frontier to an unknown source, which we are currently trying to determine where, what, and why. However, the 3 big theories that I've come up with is, firstly, they are calling in reinforcements ready to sweep in and take a huge chunk of sectors back, pushing us back in our progress. Secondly, and tied into the first one, they could even be trying to coordinate an attack on a different front so that we have to deal with the automatons from 2 completely different places in the galactic frontier at once. Or third and most terrifying, but also kind of the one that I really hope it is they could well have been trying to contact an entirely different race, a brand new faction that has been hinted at a few times now. Now, whether they are asking this faction for help to aid them in our destruction, or maybe it's just to sow the seeds of war, to instill hostility, coax them into our galactic frontier, and cause chaos, and just start a war with everyone and everything. But definitely something massive is on the horizon based on whatever that broadcast contained and whoever it was trying to reach. Also, as we take a look at the second half of the Phase 1 completed dispatch note, a new automaton type has been confirmed. So now, both automatons and terminids, it seems, will be bringing offensive flying units into the fray. For the automatons, this comes in the form of aerial gunships. However, the first bit of good news I have to share with you today, this means it has also been confirmed that our factories have accelerated production of all of our most effective anti-air weapons. At least I assume it's supposed to say anti-air weapons when it just cuts off at anti-air whoop. I don't imagine it's anti-air waffles. I can't imagine throwing grilled food products at them would do all that much damage. So hopefully we'll be getting some new, very powerful stratagems and weapons specifically designed for taking out flying threats very, very soon. And whilst we're on the topic of new weapons and equipment to help us fight back against the hostile forces threatening our precious, glorious democracy, in case you missed it, we already have 2 of these new weapons right now. That is the LAZ-99 Quasar Cannon and the MG-206 Heavy Machine Gun. I've already done a deep dive on both of these weapons, so go and check it out in case you missed it. And another side note, which my poor aim allowed me to miss, is the fact that the Quasar Cannon is even better than I already thought it was, with the ability to one-shot charges if you hit them in the head, and 2-shot Bile Titans if your accuracy isn't as terrible as mine too. And next up, as I mentioned at the start of the video, as we've completed Phase 1, a new major order has opened up to us, Operation Swift Disassembly Phase 2. Intel analysis has identified that the planet Tibet is the most significant producer of illegal automaton combatants. Liberating this planet would significantly impact the enemy's capacity to replenish decommissioned socialists. And it would also further limit the theft of the planet's natural resources from our future generations of sentient, democratic, freedom-seeking humans. So as of right now, you can dive into Tibet and start liberating this planet. I say as of right now because this video will be going up a few hours after I record it. At the moment, I can't currently click on the planet, so I'm assuming that update is still going live and it should be ready in the next few minutes. So by the time you see this, we should be well on our way to already liberating Tibet. Future Dom here. As we were getting towards the end of editing this video, I thought I'd jump back on and see if Tibet has unlocked yet, and it's still not able to be liberated yet. So hopefully it should be live any minute now, and we can start working towards pushing the automatons out of the galactic frontier. And if we take a look at the wording of this new major order and compare that with the Arsenal expansion notice and also the broadcast from Coretta Kelly, this means that we are very determined to push the automatons out of our system entirely. And if we do manage to liberate Tibet along with the other planets in this sector, we could see the automatons completely eliminated from the frontier. However, due to that broadcast that I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's going to be that simple, and I think something even worse, even bigger, and even more terrifying is on the way, whether it be in the form of loads more automatons or an entirely new threat. So we must be wary of any and all new threats on the horizon, including, not to forget, the new aerial gunships that they're bringing into the fray, alongside an unknown entity being contacted from outside of the galactic frontier. So loads of updates, lots of potentially awesome but terrifying news just around the corner. So let's get Tibet liberated as soon as possible and see what Helldivers 2 has in store for us next.